What is going on, full-time family? Right back to it. If you missed the first video, talking about Dana White protecting McGregor from Masvidal, I'm back, man. We're back to the grind. So, with that being said, let's get straight into this news. This is something else I wanted to talk about. Cody Garbrandt proposing that either USADA testing be more consistent or just let everybody use steroids. I mean, because what's going on right now is bullshit. And I am 100% with Cody Garbrandt on this. I mean, Cody Garbrandt already, looked better than ever, being one of the guys to call out TJ Dillashaw for being on steroids before he was popped, called him out for the exact substance, and still had to go in there and fight this dude who was on EPO, and he knew it. And he lost both of those fights. But like I said, he's looking better than ever now that TJ Dillashaw has been suspended for 2 years. And saying stuff like this, man, I completely agree with the former champ Cody Garbrandt. I'm going to read what he had to say, because he had to say a lot of good shit. He said, "I know I'm the best in the world drug-free. I've had over 40 tests from USADA, and there's nothing that's been illegal." And when he says that's a fair assessment, saying he's the best in the world drug-free. But I would definitely throw in Aljamain Sterling in the mix with the best clean fighters at bantamweight. But aside from that, Cody Garbrandt continued to say, "I stated back in 2017 at the press conference, I would like to do more invasive testing with it. We have to log in everywhere we go. We have to answer the door at 6 in the morning, piss urine and blood, and do blood work. Write down every supplement we have. There should be no boundaries for picos or this or that. You either cheat or you don't. We're not in there shooting steroids up and getting big. They're doing EPO. They're doing all that kind of shit to cardio base. I knew that. I knew TJ was on that, and that's why I said I wanted more invasive testing. He's been on it for 5 or 6 years, and that's not the only thing he's on. There's a lot of other fighters that are on a lot of other shit too. And that right there is one of the biggest things he said that stands out. When he says that TJ Dillashaw has been on EPO for 5 or 6 years, there's a lot of reason to believe him. There's a lot of reason to believe him. For one, he's the first person to call TJ Dillashaw out for being on exactly EPO, and he called it out a year before TJ Dillashaw fought Henry Cejudo. Dana White and USADA are coming out and saying, TJ Dillashaw, as far as his tests are concerned, he was only on EPO for the Cejudo fight. And honestly, I don't buy that. I mean, of course, for the UFC and USADA, they have to say that or they look terrible. I mean, if you literally have one of your champions or title challengers calling out a guy who used to be his teammate for being on EPO, and then you don't test him for EPO still, and he goes on to knock people out while on EPO when someone called him out for that a year ago, you look terrible. And not only do you look terrible, you could actually be held accountable for it in the court of law, and that's a sticky subject. But, I mean, not just Cody Garbrandt, who lost a title, lost championship money. That's millions of potential dollars he lost fighting against a guy that he called out for being on EPO. Look at a guy like John Lineker, had his win streak snapped and his jaw broken by TJ Dillashaw, who was probably on EPO for that fight. I mean, if there's any truth to this that Cody Garbrandt is saying, and we have no reason to not believe Cody at this point, then this is really fucked up what TJ did here. And so Cody said, we already have this invasive testing, and I wanted even more invasive testing. But you still seeing guys fighting with picos in their system, and you see guys that look like they're on steroids, and he said there are a lot of other guys that are on a bunch of other shit, and they get away with it, with this invasive testing. So he said, if you're going to draw a line on what we can do or how we can test, you can't keep it this simple. You can't detect the EPO. Then what are we getting tested for? Let it all be legal, and let's all get juiced up and go in there and fuck each other up. That's ultimately what they want. He said, I believe in karma, being a good person. I can't focus on what any other individual is doing. I can focus on being a good person, a good father, and a good husband, getting back to the top and being a world champion. That's what keeps me going. So, man, I'm with it 100%. I don't like sketchy USADA. You either need to be catching the people that are on steroids or not testing these guys, because other than that, it's not a level playing field. If USADA got to choose, and I'm not saying they choose, but if there are some people that can beat the system even after Cody Garbrandt, that just doesn't make sense to me, man. You've got a guy fighting for a title. You had a former one of his teammates call him out for specifically EPO. And we're not testing him before the fight. We got to go because it's too expensive. I get it. Don't test your newcomers for EPO. You know, the guys that haven't even got to make that much money yet, they're probably not affording the highest grade steroids. But you could at least test every champion for EPO. At least just title fights. Like, I get it that it might cost a lot of money, but the UFC makes a lot of money. They pay USADA a lot of money. So you should at least be able to test champions. You can't test every fighter, sure, for EPO, sure. But you can't at least test the damn champions. Man, pre-fight, okay, that don't sound right to me. So I'm with Cody Garbrandt. They either need to get all these motherfuckers off of steroids or they just need to get out the picture. Hashtag USADA's got to go. And I'm not saying they need to lose their jobs. I'm just saying they need to be repositioned somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish anyone to lose their way to their employment. But as far as what they're doing in the UFC, I don't think it's working. And I actually think it's hurting more than they're helping. So with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.